Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. It is Monday, March 25th, and Joe Biden. Good old Joey. The puppet, the geriatric, the guy that hits a golf ball backwards, falls up a flight of stairs, looks for dead people in the crowd, converses with dead people during meetings that have been dead for over 3 decades, fights with his teleprompter that's been undefeated now. His teleprompter fights with Joe Biden. They duke it out every single day. The teleprompter is going on undefeated for 4 years now. Supposedly, this guy's the most coherent and sharp president that's ever existed, according to Karine Jean-Pierre and the Democrat Party. He pushes the administration. He asks them hardball questions. He's a mentor, supposedly. Asks them questions such as, who's president? What year is it? What's my name? Who lives here? How did I get to the White House? He's the sharpest, according to the Democrat Party, folks. But that's not what we say here on the Bald Brad Show. He is the worst president to ever exist. He is the least coherent president to ever exist. And damn, folks, it is great to be back with you patriots on this fine Monday morning. And boy, oh boy, are we going to kick it off with a banger of a news article, because I said this happened and I got pushback from the lefties in the comment section, on emails, on social media saying, you don't have any evidence that they let these people into the interior of the country. Well, here's the proof once again, even though we posted on the short. We have it right here. Illegal immigrants who stormed National Guard were processed and released. Yes, it's right there. Read it, you libs. Released into the United States by Border Patrol. I said it happened. They didn't believe me. They said I was making it up because I was first to call it. And here we are again with the proof on Monday morning. Many of the illegal immigrants who stormed the southern border on Thursday by breaking down razor wire, we all saw the video, and fencing before pushing into National Guard troops, were reportedly not just processed, but also released into the United States after the incident. So that's all you have to do. What a great message, folks, to the rest of the world is, hey, just go storm our Border Patrol, storm our National Guard troops, throw haymakers at them, just completely push them to the ground, get rid of our border barrier, which all your taxpayer dollars put in place, and we'll just let you right in the interior of the country. But Joe Biden has this handle, folks. Joe Biden's PR movement and statements have been just crystal clear, right? You always hear from Karine Jean-Pierre, oh, president's been clear on this. The president's been clear. He went to the southern border. Kamala Harris flew over the southern border. She's been to El Salvador and Honduras. She's spoken to the continent down there. Everybody understands the message that you can't come here illegally. That's not what we're seeing. The complete opposite. And again, I got pushback from the liberals about all this. These libs, these snowflakes, these woke extremists saying, oh, you don't have any proof that they were let into the interior of the country. Yeah, I do. Right here. It's all over the news. Video captured by the New York Post, again, that we covered last week, showed hundreds of illegal immigrant men charging the border in El Paso, Texas. And remember, it wasn't just us showing the video. It was also us showing the White House press briefing where Peter Doocy asked, hey, were these people deported? And Karine Jean-Pierre said, well, I don't really know the nuances of everybody's personal situation, but they were all apprehended. And I say, I have the evidence. The evidence is coming from Newsweek that these people are going to be let and released into the interior of the country. And here we are now. Quote, this sends the message to people around the world that even if you act like this, you could probably get into the country. Isn't that what I just said? And I think they continue to push these boundaries and to see what they can get away with here and there and get away with really, really scary stuff. Absolutely correct. So here's an individual on Dana Perino show on Fox that many of these single adults who were assaulted National Guardsmen and rushed the wall were later processed into the country. Here we go. Let's roll it.
Message to people around the world that even if you act like this, you can probably get into the country. And I think they continue to push these boundaries and to see what they can get away with. And here they got away with some really, really scary stuff. And, you know, appeared to be assaulting some of the National Guardsmen. It was totally out of control.
Jenny,
This is Biden's America, folks. This is Biden's America. This is what he wanted. Look, if he didn't want this to happen, he has executive orders that he could put in place. He could utilize executive action and stop this in the next hour. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. In the next hour, he can get our troops down there, stop this from happening. This isn't families porn across. There's no children in this video. They're all military-aged men. We don't know who these people are. We're not processing them. They say we're processing them. They're not. They're allowing them into the interior of the country. You could do this type of stuff to our property. You could do this type of stuff to our Border Patrol. Tell me this does not look weak to the rest of the world. I mean, Joe Biden already gives the image that America is weak when you have Russia invading Ukraine and already in Ukraine. You get the terrorist attack that took place in Ukraine. You got China wanting to go into Taiwan. We have boots now in Taiwan, present time. You got Iran wanting to wipe Western civilization off the face of the earth. You have a lot of terrorist proxy groups infiltrating our southern border into the interior United States, which, by the way, we know right now, guaranteed 100%, and I'm using that in all literal sense, there are terrorists in our country, present time. Folks, 9/11 wasn't that long ago, but this is what the Democrat Party does, you guys. They destroy this country from the inside out, and it's always a conservative Republican that has to bring it back just a baseline. We're not into office long enough to actually bring it past baseline. We'll see what Trump can do here. Hopefully in 2024, this man gets elected. We can't take more of this, you guys. Most likely there'll be a terrorist attack either under Biden or under Trump, and it's going to be Biden's fault. And who's going to get the blame? Donald Trump is. So Governor Greg Abbott actually did come out and give a brief update about the incident a few hours after the video, and it garnered millions of views, as it should, where the Texas National Guard and Department of Public Safety quickly regained control and are redoubling the razor wire barriers. DPS is instructed to arrest every illegal immigrant involved for criminal trespass and destruction of property. We'll actually see that because, again, Greg, they're somehow being let loose into the country. I don't know if that's a state thing or a federal thing. I'd imagine it's a state thing to apprehend them, but it's a federal thing to let them into the interior of the country. Now, the White House has themselves responded to this footage that came out. And who are they going to blame? I know, shocker. They're blaming Mr. 45, Donald Trump themselves. It's so insane, the spinning. And what's more insane, not just the fact that they're going to spin this, because we expect them to do that, right? That's basically Karine Jean-Pierre's job, is to take all the idiotic things Joe Biden has done and said and spin it on somebody else's fault, like Xi Jinping, or Putin's fault with the Putin price hike, or Donald Trump's fault with just anything and everything. I mean, Donald Trump is the scapegoat for the Democrat Party. It's always his fault, even though he sat there and actually stopped a lot of this illegal immigration that's taking place under Barack Obama. And, now you have this guy just exacerbating. And by this guy, I mean Joe Biden himself. So the Biden administration has responded to the viral video showing a large group of illegal immigrants, which we just got done talking about, storming the Texas National Guard. Video captured by the New York Post showed, again, dozens, and the Post reported around 600 migrants were illegally trying to enter the U.S. when the group of what appeared to be all men broke through the razor wire. Now, quote, "We are grateful for Border Patrol's quick work to get the situation under control and apprehend the migrants." Now, what if the Border Patrol wasn't there? Now, the Border Patrol, the Texas National Guard that was there, was not placed there under the Biden administration. They were placed there by who? Texas. Correct. So if there wasn't them there, would these people actually be apprehended? Would they have actually been caught and then let loose in the interior of the country, which we know is what's happening? Or would they just have been in the interior of the country no matter what? Notice there's no route here in which they're deported. Does everybody understand that? There's no route in which these people are deported for conducting the behavior that they just did. Not a single one of them is ex-nade. Oh, hey, let in. Hey, what do you need? You need rental assistance? Perfect. You need 3 meals a day? Go ahead and head to New York, Chicago. If you go to Chicago, not only you get 3 meals a day, you're guaranteed $84,000 a year, which is above what the average American makes in this country. You get rental assistance, you're getting clothing, you're getting your education paid for, you're getting your paperwork paid for. You're going to get a lawyer that's going to set you up nicely. You'll get a court date about 10 years into the future. Make sure you have some kids so they're not granted a citizenship. And by the way, in probably 10 years, you'll get your amnesty, of which the Democrat Party is going to push here. It is wild. I mean, we're so ass backwards, it's insane. Well, here's another quote. When the former president, meaning he's talking about Donald Trump, told congressional Republicans to block the bipartisan border security agreement, he said to blame him for it. Well, he got his wish, and the result was chaos after Governor Greg Abbott's Operational Lone Star and Razor Wire were overrun yesterday. While we cannot comment on individual cases, anyone who does not have a legal basis to remain in the United States is promptly removed. BS! You just got done seeing our first segment that shows and proof reporters, boots on the ground, their own eyes are watching this take place of being let loose into the interior of the country, and they're going to blame Donald Trump. So why did Republicans not want to go forward with this border security bill? And the reason why I put it in air quotes is because, one, it doesn't fix the border whatsoever. Please understand this. Even you liberals that watch the show, the package does not fix the problem at the border. Does it give them more resources? Absolutely. None of which is actually going to fix this problem whatsoever, which is typical of our Congress to sit there and pour money into something that does absolutely nothing to fix it, and in some cases actually exacerbates it and just watch the problem get worse. Well, what's an example, Brad? The homeless crisis that's taking place in every single Democrat-ran city. They're pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into a problem that's only gotten worse since it started being, quote, a problem, which has been exacerbated by the Democrat Party. Same situation here. So let's look at why Republicans shot down the bill. Top House Republicans shot down the border bill that was unveiled in the Senate, again, Monday. This was a while ago, so back in February, saying that it was dead on arrival if makes it to basically the lower chamber of Congress. Quote, House Republicans opposed the Senate immigration bill because it fails to, in every policy area, needed to secure our border. There you go, right there, and would actually incentivize more illegal immigration. God, that sounds a hell of a lot like what I just said, that it only exacerbates a problem. It's spending your hard-earned money on areas that don't fix anything, so why spend it in the first place? And again, an analogy to this would be what's going on with the homeless crisis that's happening in Democrat-run areas. Quote, among it, many flaws, the bill expands work authorizations for illegal aliens while failing to include critical asylum reforms. God, where did we also see this article that we covered just a couple weeks ago? Oh, God, it sounds like a few companies out there are going to hire these people over actual Americans. Yes, you heard that correctly. Check our video catalog. I forget the company's name, but the company is going to be getting rid of actual Americans and hiring those illegal aliens that are given basically visas or work permits in some way, shape, or form to be able to work for that company for a cheaper rate. Even worse, its language allowing illegals to be released from physical custody would effectively endorse the Biden catch-and-release policy. Correct. The so-called shutdown authority in the bill is anything but, riddled with loopholes that grant far too much discretionary authority for Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, which absolutely sucks at his job. The dude should be removed from his position. He's lied to Congress on multiple occasions. We have it on tape. It's not us making this up. The dude lied on tape to Congress under oath, telling us the border's secure, that people are completely fine. They're being apprehended. They're not being let into the interior of the country. BS. We've seen the video of it. We have the receipts. We have you lying under oath. Nothing's going to happen to him because he's a Democrat, and Democrats sit there and want to be corrupt, and Republicans are too freaking loosey-goosey. They don't have a spine to actually do something about it. Who has proven he will exploit every measure possible. There you go. In the defiance of the law. Well, why is he still in his position then? Folks, I'm so tired. You can kind of see a theme here later on, especially with the budget that was passed. Republicans are screwing us as well. We're getting reamed from both parties at the present time. The bill also fails to adequately stop the president's abuse of parolee authority and provides for taxpayer funds to fly and house illegal immigrants into hotels through the FEMA shelter and service program. God, I feel like we covered this. I feel like this is nothing new. I feel like we covered this and YouTube came at us, as well as these freaking liberals, for covering this whole thing about a year ago. We've been on this for 3 years. This is nothing new for us here. We've covered everything. We've shown body cam footage. We've shown flights. We've shown actual footage of people pouring across the border. We've seen the people bringing the fentanyl across the border. We've seen them dropping freaking children over the border wall. We've seen it all here on the show. This is nothing new. This is nothing absolutely anywhere new. And by the way, it's not really so much like a border security bill for us as it is for Ukraine. It actually gives more funding to other countries in their border to secure their nation than it does ours. It's wild. So speaking of somebody that somewhat has their head on loose and wants to get the message out there, you got Border Patrol Chief Jason Owens, who's declaring Biden's border crisis a national security threat, which we've known. I know this is nothing new. I know I'm preaching to the choir. This is stuff we've already covered. But it's good to see somebody else now speaking on behalf of this rather than a Republican. And maybe this guy is a Republican for all I know, hell. So U.S. Border Patrol Chief Jason Owens said over the weekend that hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens who have evaded capture and made it into the U.S. homeland keep him up at night, and that situation is a national security threat. This also is echoed by Christopher Wray, the FBI director, who was, I believe he's being, I don't know if it's Lindsey Graham or somebody else was speaking to him in front of a congressional hearing. And he said, look, 9/11 had red flags everywhere. He goes, this is on a level that's way greater than 9/11 with red flags blinking, flags freaking waving everywhere. And he's like, there's something going to happen. There's something bad taking place. We have the intelligence. We have the information. We know something's brewing up on a rate that doesn't even compare to 9/11 in terms of like awareness of what's happening. And people are like, well, why are we not doing anything about it? I said Joe Biden's committing treason. If you didn't see that episode the other day, I firmly do believe this. Joe Biden is committing treason based on what is stated. This guy is allowing terrorist proxy groups to infiltrate and invade our country, and he's giving them comfort, he's allowing it to do it, and he's helping them do it. That is the definition of treason, and this guy is promoting it, he's allowing it on the backs of the Democrat Party and other Democrats. Anybody that's involved in this should be tried for treason. I really do firmly believe that. It is insane what is taking place here. Do some people want to have a good life? Absolutely. I totally get that. I'm not talking about the people that want a good life. Even though, yes, they broke the law and I understand that they should be deported and all those other things. I'm talking about the freaking terrorists that we know are in this country. This is not my opinion. We know. DHS secretary has said it. The FBI freaking director has said it. The director of the CIA has said it. Everybody said it. Homeland Security has said it. There is not a single person in our intelligence community that hasn't said it, that there's terrorists here and we're allowing this to take place. What is it going to take? Some freaking nut jobs performing something that happened, as you just saw in Russia here? And then is it going to wake up your liberal freaking heads going, oh God, yeah, we shouldn't have done that. What a security failure. And then it's going to come out that the FBI, the CIA, everybody had all this intelligence. They knew it took place. They told Congress, oh, it's going to take place. It's going to happen. Is that what it's going to take? Is Americans being killed and massacred before people actually wake their asses up to all this? You're damn right I'm riled up, dude. People are going to fucking die because they're idiots. Democrat, Republican, Green Party, shit, independent, I don't care. We're all Americans at the end of the day. We're allowing this to happen. You need to slow it down. There's a process that we all have to go through. Nobody's against legal immigration. File the paperwork. Do the correct steps necessary to come into this country. I understand it's not easy. I agree there needs to be reform. But for the love of God, we're getting to a level here. We have 10 million people just under the Biden administration. We don't know who the hell they are, like at all, coming from 120 different nations. It's not just Mexico. It's not just El Salvador. It's not just Honduras. It's China, Guatemala, Colombia. I mean, you name it, coming from everywhere. China, Iran. I mean, again, 120 countries. So it says here, damn, a little bit of a rant. Let me get a little swig of coffee. I'm pissed. Again, Owens made the remarks during a Sunday interview with CBS News Face the Nation while talking about the Mexican drug cartels effectively set the rules of engagement at the southern border. They dictate what the flow is going to look like and how to respond to it. But I thought the Mexican government had this all under control, you guys. I was told they're working with us on this. I was told they didn't want this to happen either. They want this. Are you kidding me? It's a massive... You don't think the Mexico government's getting money from the cartel out of this? You don't think that they're being used in some way, shape, or form? You don't think their shoulders are being massaged? You don't think they're getting a cut of something here? It's all corrupt over there. It's all corrupt. Then when we try and get out in front of it and deny them the ability to use these areas, especially the ones that we think are going to be dangerous for us and for the migrants, but at the end of the day, there's over 1,900 miles of border with Mexico. Now, when you talk about the 20,000 Border Patrol agents, that sounds like a lot, but when you multiply that by 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, across the entire year, that number starts to dwindle very fast. And that's exactly what they'll do. That's the tactic is. They'll push groups across knowing we're going to respond with a humanitarian perspective and make sure that they are safe. And while we're tied up and occupied doing this, what are they going to do a couple miles down the road? The exact same thing. They're just going to continue to infiltrate it because they're understanding our humanitarian side of how generous we are as a country, and they're taking it for granted. And at some point, you have to stop that generosity because people are going to take advantage of that That generosity that's being handed down because a lot of us are people of faith. We want to take care of people. We want to help the globe, which is what we've been doing for a long time. We're the most generous freaking country that's ever existed in humankind, and people are taking advantage of it. At some point, you got to sit there and stop feeding the birds because the more you feed the birds, the more the birds are going to come. We all know that saying. That's what's happening here. So finally, somebody spoke up here and said, look, there's people pouring across the border. We don't know who they are. There's a national security threat taking place. Everybody needs to wake up to this because they're exploiting a vulnerability right now at the border, which they've been doing for the last 3.5 years, and Joe Biden doesn't want to do anything about it. So there's that front right there. There's some updates with the border. Again, I told you, I promised you for the last 3 years, I'm going to keep you up to date on everything that takes place, even if we're aware of what's going on and we've heard it. If it's in the news, we're covering it here on the Bold Brad Show. Well, speaking of this is going to set me off. Border and immigration, number one, number two issue. The other number one, number two issue here is our freaking spending on our national debt, which is over $34 trillion. Give your perspective, you guys. Okay. I know I talk about this a lot. Congress has swindled around. Hey, maybe we should just take out a ceiling of $134 trillion. Let that one sink in. Let's just hit $134 trillion. You're never paying this back. God, we're digging ourselves a hole, and I'm so tired of it. Republicans do. Republicans voted for this crap. And as far as I'm concerned, if you voted for this and you're allowing this to continue to happen, you should be out. Because I'm a registered Republican, but I'm a fiscal conservative. This shit doesn't fly with me. Luckily, I live in California where there's not too many Republicans to vote for. Okay, it's all Democrats, and I don't vote for them at all. I'm telling you, when are we going to stop it, you guys? Honestly, for the Bulb Rat Show viewers, are we going to continue to elect people that are going to sit there and drive either us into the ground or our kids? I mean, some Americans getting screwed here. It just depends what generation is going to happen. The Senate approved a 1.2 trillion, not billion, not million, $1 trillion spending package. If that doesn't take your breath away, and folks, this isn't, goddamn, it's not 1.2 trillion. We pay interest on this money. It's way more than that. We don't have $1.2 trillion. In a bipartisan vote during the early hours of Saturday morning. So when everybody's asleep, right? People are just waking up, groggy as hell, don't know what the hell's going on. That's when they vote this stuff through. Sending the bill to the President Joe Biden, who will likely sign it. Of course he will. Of course he will. I don't know what the hell he's signing. He doesn't know his name. After passing the House on Friday, in a 286 to 134 vote, the Senate voted 74 to 24 at 2 a.m. Like I said, people are sleeping. To send the more than 1,000-page spending packet to Biden's desk. Why are we writing thousands of pages? In this case, 1,000, but there's been multiple thousands of pages. Stuff that's been passed before. Why do we nobody knows what the hell this is, what's in there? Nobody's read it. Nobody's read it. You know how many Americans even read a 1,000-page book in a year? In a lifetime? You could probably count on one hand. God, these people are idiots up there in Congress, and we vote for them. I'm frustrated because it F's everybody. You know what I mean? I get frustrated on things that F everybody. Not just me, right? That's a selfish thing. You are screwing us as a society from the national security threat at the border to this here. All of those have nothing to do with Republican, have nothing to do with being conservative, have nothing to do with being a Democrat. It screws everybody. The House reported again earlier this week that the House and Senate committee and leadership announced that they had come to an agreement to fund the government for the remainder of fiscal year 2024. Oh, meaning January, guess where we're back again? We're back in the same situation. We just kicked the can down the road. Now we're just doing 1.2 trillion, probably the following year. God, it's going to be 2 trillion, 4 trillion. Hey, why don't we just be idiots here? That's right. No, just drive the country into the ground. It's fine. Why should I even care anymore? It's 34 trillion. We're not coming back from this. We're not coming back. Are you kidding me? Hey, let's just be idiots. That's fine. Yeah, let's keep voting these people in office. Keep screwing us at the end of the day. I just don't understand it, man. I can't wrap my head around Americans just being totally fine with this. You want to know why everyone's fine with this? Because they haven't actually been impacted by this at all. That's why. In some way, shape, or form, yeah, sure the inflation, right, and everybody got pissed for a little bit, and then it got lowered because the Federal Reserve stepped in and all these other things. Wait till your taxes are through the roof, which, by the way, if you're not aware, your taxes change again. So your standard deduction gets almost cut in half. Just wait till that comes. Oh, that's coming around the corner. Oh, yes, you're right. That double of your child tax credit, yeah, it's getting cut in half too. I hope you guys are all ready for that. Because if that doesn't get passed through once again, meaning the Trump credits, the Trump tax cut, the relief that was going after the wealthy and the rich, that the Democrat Party was going after them for, basically saved you about 3% on taxes every single year. Yeah, all that's doing away with. Hope you're ready for that. And I hope you're ready for this happening, because this is about to ream you right in the tushy. If you don't expect your taxes to go up at some point in your lifetime, then it's going to happen to your children. And God, it's going to suck when it hits them. If it doesn't happen to them, then it's definitely their grandchildren. Somebody here is getting screwed. I know I'm repeating myself, but I don't know how I could wake up Americans to the fact that this is freaking insane. Nobody's ever recovered from this, by the way. It's never happened. Like, people recovered from a deficit before of extremely large amounts of sums of money. Not 34 trillion. Not 34 trillion. You think you're going to get your Social Security? I know we're talking a lot like, oh, we'll be able to fund it. Folks, what they're going to do, this is the only way to do it. Rand Paul's talked about it. They're just going to print more money. They're going to inflate the shit out of our currency. Your dollar, the value of the dollar is going to decrease, okay? When the value of the dollar decreases, then technically so does the value of our debt. That's the way that they're going to get out of this, in air quotes. God, we're so done. We are so done. If you think that China, I know I'm preaching to the choir. I know it feels like I'm not lecturing you folks. I'm heated right now because this is frustrating as hell. There's consequences. I know you're aware of this. Not just fiscal consequences. How the f are we going to pay for a war if China invades Taiwan? And if you think that they're going to stop up with Taiwan, you're insane. Folks, Taiwan makes up of like 90% of the market when it comes to chips. Specialized chips. Where do you think those chips get put into? Our F-35s, our F-22s, us. They take over Taiwan. What war are you going to fight? Furthermore, where are you going to get the money? Where are you going to get the materials? Freaking idiots, man. These nut jobs. They are. They are. I'm sorry. They are. I know it's not professional. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. You're all screwed. We're all screwed here at the end of the day. It's been a very long and difficult day, but we have just reached an agreement to complete the job of funding in the government. It's a good... Jesus Christ. It is good for the country that we have reached this bipartisan deal. God, Schumer, just... So lucky, man, I'm on YouTube right now. Damn it. It's good for the country. It wasn't easy, but tonight, our persistence has been worth it. At least you guys know I'm care, right? At least you're getting an authentic person, authentic viewpoint from me. Because it's my number 1 and 2 issue. Immigration and this. And it's continuously just driving us down into... I'm done. I'm not going to go further. All right, well, switching to other news here. I've been holding off talking about this, and some of you have emailed me and asked me, hey, why are you not talking about Kate Middleton? Why are you not, talking about what's going on? Because I like to hold off sometimes for the evidence. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll give my conspiracy theory of what I think might happen or what I think's going on. But there's certain things where I just want to hold back amidst of all the conspiracy theories regarding what's taking place. So I've heard oh, she's dead, she's not alive, she's I don't know, she's divorcing the guy, he cheated on. I've heard it all, right? So the reason I want to talk about this is because not so much of her story, but kind of connecting it to AI, because AI has not really even released yet. There's this thing called Sora. I think it's called Sora. It's basically video. I think it has to be 60 seconds or less of video, completely AI generated. There's not a single thing in any of the feeds, any of the videos that was created by Sora that is legitimately real. It looks real. There's no well, I can't, I could tell. Sometimes you see CGI in movies, and you're like, yeah, I could tell that dude's fake. That's pretty clear as day. We're just not there yet, even with the deep fakes. No. Sora, this stuff is you can't tell the difference. The reason why I bring that up is because that's technically not released to the public yet. People are saying that Kate Middleton here, her announcement is AI generated. And you're really seeing kind of the negative side of AI here, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we progress forward here. So Kate Middleton finally broke her silence on Friday about her medical condition as she announced she has cancer, which is terrible. I think the king has cancer as well. It's just terrible, and is currently undergoing chemotherapy. And she looked kind of a little bit more skinnier in the video here, as you can see. Just doesn't look super healthy. And if anybody's seen people that are undergoing chemo or have had cancer or very sick, you can just tell. You can tell by the way they look. So she says in her video that she had major abdominal surgery. And at first they thought there was nothing cancerous, but that ended up not being the case. And so people are taking this video here. I'm going to kind of mute it. They're taking this video here and saying this is AI generated. They're zooming in on the eyes. They're looking at the reflections in the chair. And I'll be fair. Could it technically be AI generated? It could. But that's the problem that I'm bringing up. Is that with this AI, nobody's going to be able to tell the truth anymore. Nobody's going to be able to know what the hell is real and isn't real. It's already happening, and the AI model's not even out yet for the public. Now, there's AI models that are being generated and created as time goes on, but I would say within the next 5 years, you could have a full scene like this and no clue if it's real or not, if the person actually created it or not. And I just wanted to bring awareness because you're seeing kind of where we're heading with AI of a lot of good, being able to probably figure out certain mathematical problems in terms of physics and just anywhere in the sciences that maybe we haven't been able to overcome as a species. The biggest minds in the world probably haven't, like maybe the God equation or, whatever it may be. And then you got the other side of it as well, where, a lot of medical advances can be done with AI, figuring out a lot of problems that, again, mankind hasn't been able to solve. Hell, maybe solving cancer, who knows? But then you have the negative side effect of it, of can it grab a hold of the internet? When it grabs a hold of the internet, could it grab a hold of your bank account? What's stopping it from doing something malicious? And then this side with the video of it. What's stopping it from, having this, but maybe creating a fake of a president saying something? If it has connections to the internet, what's stopping it from then uploading it to the whitehouse.gov or some server of the White House? People think it is the White House saying it's not, but you don't have enough time because it's saying that there's launching a nuke. It created a video and a whole radar system of a nuke being launched. I mean, The amount of negative that could come of this is freaking scary as hell. And when you have somebody like Putin or like North Korea that wants to develop a nuke, or Iran, and when they see a nuclear warhead, or if they see the launch of nuclear warheads, or they're seeing a president or a politician saying we're heading into World War III, we're going to war with Putin, we already have boots on the ground, and everyone's like scrambling, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. When people have fear in their eyes, they make irrational decisions. Okay. Now, we saw this during COVID. Look how quickly Americans were willing to give up their freedoms over something that was minuscule in terms of killing you. Now, that doesn't go with the comorbidities and stuff like that. I'm talking about COVID-19, and we're going to get flagged here on YouTube like we always do with it. But scientifically, hell, even statistically, if you looked at it, you were not going to die from COVID. We shut down the entire globe for this thing. Now, it's supposed to be 15 weeks to stop the spread, and then extrapolate into like a year and a half or whatever. But when people have fear in their eyes, they don't use their head, even when the data shows that they're wrong. You're going to have the same thing here with AI. The only problem is the data might swing in your direction, even though the data is wrong, because the data is freaking fake. The video that you're watching is completely fake, and you can't tell from the naked eye that it's not real. I'm telling you, look up the Sora stuff. It's insane what's coming out of here with AI. I like AI. I think it has a lot of potential, a lot of advancements that can help society, can help the world overcome certain things. But damn, man, this is some scary stuff, because there's nothing but TikTok videos out there of people saying this video is fake. It's not real. It's manipulated. She's not really alive. She's not really with the prince. She's divorcing him. All sorts of things I've heard and read, which is why I've held off. The question is it real? I'm going to take their word for it, which takes a lot for me to say, because I don't believe any government out there, let alone our own freaking government. I don't tend to believe in politicians. Again, I'm a conservative. I'm not a fan of government. I like limited government. I think government needs to be there. But hell, I don't know, folks. I just wanted to bring that aware to you, because one, fascinating. Two, I've been holding out and talking about it. We know our boy Shib. We got a few people, other patriots here. Even though I know look, they're American patriots, even though they live in the United Kingdom. You know, if we go to war, you're damn right they're gonna have our backs. So they better have our backs, and we have theirs. But there's a bunch of people, folks, that do watch the show from the United Kingdom. So let's be in prayer for the Princess of Wales here, because that's just awful. You don't want to see anybody go through that. Look, we don't like Joe Biden, but I don't wish any ill will upon that man. He has a family. He has kids. He has a wife. You know, he's a human being. We might not like him. We might not like the policies and the idiotic things he does, but he's still a human being. I don't wish that upon anybody unless you're an evil person, like the scumbags that we're about to talk about here regarding the terrorists that committed that atrocity in Moscow. I mean, just horrendous stuff. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I more or less just want to make you aware that the Russians are freaking torturing these guys. What's insane here, you know, you got guys that commit heinous crimes here in the United States, and, you know, they're given like hotel rooms, you know, massages, and, you know, 3-course meals a day, taken care of after they just got done slaughtering 100 people. Now, I'm being a little bit loose with that, right? Giving a little bit more than what it is. They're treated a lot better, a lot more humanely here in the United States if you commit a massive terrorist attack than you were in other countries. And I think it's important to see how other countries deal with things, because here in the United States, you can just cross over the border, you're completely fine, let loose in the interior of the country, get $84,000 a year from Chicago, get rental assistance, get your lawyers taken care of, all that stuff. Hell, you get even a free education if you come here illegally. You try that in another country, let me know how that works out for you. But again, we're the racists, we're the xenophobes, we're the disgusting country, even though you got people like Russia, Iran, that'll freaking cut your head off. And I'm not joking by that. Some countries, if you go into their country illegally, good luck with that. Especially if you're part of the LGBTQ community. Good luck with that one. Let me know how your head works and how it stays attached to your body. Or hell, they find out you're gay, they're throwing you off a bridge. I'm not kidding, by the way. They will do that to you. So here, footage of Russian forces torturing the men they arrested over the Moscow terror attack emerged tonight, with one man, just, folks, if you don't like graphic detail here, now's the time to turn away, because this is graphic, even for the men. One man given electric shocks to his genitals, and a second forced to eat his own ear. One image shows a suspect named, I can't even pronounce that, foaming at the mouth as he lies on a gym floor with his trousers pulled down and wires attached to his groin area. At the other end, they attached to a military radio powered by an 80-volt battery. Separate video sees another man having his ear severed and then spitting it out of his and forced to eat it. Jesus, man. I mean, it's graphic, folks. There's a guy with his ear cut off. Clearly, he had the crap beat out of him. And look, if these guys committed, again, I don't know, because the Russians are some loosey-goosey characters on stuff every now and then. I don't know if these men did it or they just pulled some guys off the street. If they did do it, you know, the heinous crime they committed, I got no sympathy for these men. I got no sympathy whatsoever. I think they should be freaking just eviscerated from society. By eviscerated, I mean gone, kaput, turned to ash. We'll keep it like that. But damn, just terrible things. Like, I'm not saying I'm a fan of the Russian government by any means, but I am fans of Russians who love America, because there are some out there, and just in general, what a terrible thing to happen to a country. And I hope that the Russians that do watch this show, I hope you guys do understand. I have friends that are Russians, but from Russia, came here, wanted a better life, but they still have connections there. As much as the terrible things that Russia has done to Ukraine, I don't want ill will to happen to anybody. Do you know what I mean? And I know I'm hopefully, God, I'm making sense here. I don't like terrorism. I don't want people hurting and attacking other people. If these guys were the actual ones that committed this crime, yeah, they deserve to be freaking buried as far into the freaking earth as far as possible. But what just a terrible thing to happen to the Russian people. What a terrible, terrible thing. And, this could happen to us here, folks, sadly. 100% could happen to us, and nobody's going to wake up to it. Politicians don't give a crap. Don't think that they do, because if they did, they would have stopped this as well. The president doesn't care. The Democrat Party doesn't care. There's people in the Democrat Party that are socialists. They hate this country. They say they love it, right? Because they live here. This can happen to us, and hopefully we're aware of what the hell's going on. So I'll keep you guys updated with everything that's going on. Make sure you pray for Russia, for the people that are there and their families, because that's just a terrible thing. And again, praying for Russia doesn't mean we're praying for their successes in Ukraine or anything like that. It's praying for the human beings that are there. Do you know what I mean? Damn, I feel like I'm riled up on this Monday episode, but that's the news for you, folks. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I hope you're enjoying the videos that were coming out every now and then, the kind of short form, like I said, would happen. Just kind of random news stories happening throughout the day to try to get those views and the clicks and the subscribers. But as I've always said, folks, there really is some weird stuff going on with YouTube with this channel. Many of you don't know, and this is kind of a sidebar thing, I have a restore and repair channel. And I used to do it back in the day during COVID, where I'd restore like Tonka trucks and kind of vintage items, and I'd bring them back to what they were. Like, some of the stuff's like 100 years old plus. And then I'd resell it on like Etsy or eBay and stuff like that. And I'd garner somewhere of like 200,000 views on some videos. Folks, to give you a perspective, some of my videos, legitimately, like actual videos, have like 200,000 views. You want to know how many subscribers I had on that channel? Like 4,000 if I was lucky, 5,000 when it took off. The most I have now, I haven't done anything like 2.5 years, is like 7,000 subscribers. My analytics for the Bald Brad Show are better per video than that Restore and Repair channel. I still have the same amount of viewers with 53,000 subs. Never bought a sub in my life, never bought a like, never bought a comment, never bought anything other than Google ads to run the show to try to get out to new viewers. I have the same amount of viewers as I did when I had 1,000 subscribers. I have 50,000 now, 53,000. I have the same amount of views as I do 1,000. I was looking at some other channels. They have like 200 videos, and they have 88,000 views, and some of their videos have 24,000 views, like 5,000 plus, some of them 100,000 views. I'm looking at my channel going, we have a pretty good audience. We have a great audience. My analytics aren't terrible, but you're not sending it out to anybody. Like, I have 53,000. You're sending out to 500 people, like 1,000 impressions. Why not more? And by the way, there's full videos. And if you guys want me to do a video and show you that, like, the data yourselves, like provide you the evidence, they're not even send notifications, are zero on videos. So you guys have notifications on, right? You're like, oh, I'm getting notifications. Great. I could see how, like, each individual person, I could see how many clicks somebody gets on the notifications. I have videos where no clicks. How is that possible? Out of 53,000 people, not one person was notified and clicked on the video? How is that possible? Not even a single one, really. I've showed some people this behind the scenes, the data. I'm like, tell me that this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. So I know I'm ranting and raving here, but I've made over 2,000 videos. I think we're at 2,000 roughly. And you're telling me, really, that it's not going out there? It's such an uphill battle, man. It really gets to me. It's discouraging. I loved it. Folks, if I didn't love doing this, like, if I would be cool with, again, 500 people, 1,000 people, doesn't matter. 53,000 is great. You guys are all great. I love hanging out with you. That's one of the reasons why I do this. But if I didn't, like, absolutely love doing this as a hobby, regardless of pay, Like, I would have been done a long time ago. I understand why people quit because, especially as a conservative, there's no way. There's no way that there's not shady shit going on behind the scenes on YouTube. It has to be. It has to be. So, anyways, me ranting and raving. I'm going to continue to rant and rave about it because it's a way for me to vent to you guys because it's frustrating. It's such an uphill climb here that I'm having to deal with YouTube. It just doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense. 200, 250 out of 50. It just doesn't. Again, I try to wrap my head around it. If it makes sense to any of you, let me know because I know some of you have left me comments going, how do you have this many subscribers? We only get like 300 views if you're lucky. I'm right there with you. Trust me. I'm analyzing the data at the same time as you. It's just as much as you are. Just as much as you are. So we all know some foozery is going on, but I appreciate you guys at least supporting me. It's nice to have a community here that grows and has my back, has my six, and is here each and every day with me. I really do appreciate it. It goes a long way. And again, one of the many why I do this is the community, hanging out with you guys, chatting to camera, which I'm chatting to you guys. You have me in your homes, on your phones, in your ears. You know, you listen to me rant and rave. I love this country. I want nothing but the best for America, regardless if our politicians are trying to drive it into the ground. We're the last great city, folks. There is no better place here on earth. There's no better place on earth. And if there is, then go live there because you know, let me know how that one works out for you at the end of the day. Anyways, enough of me ranting and raving, folks. I hope you appreciate this episode. If you enjoyed it and you think we deserve your like and subscribe, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us a comment down below. Do you think we're going to actually recover here from the $34 trillion plus that we're inheriting? Let me know in the comment section below, folks. I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll see you tomorrow here on The Bull Brad Show.